Okay, so let's continue with our preparation tabs. First is now there's a sample tool. Okay, so what is a sample tool? It will let you extract like a particular portion of rows, maybe, or some datas, a particular like some rows of datas, or maybe some set of data from your data set basically. So that is what your sample tool is, which helps you do that. So let's say, for example, if we go over here, so this is my data with customer IDs, first name, last name, address, city, and everything. So if I want to like extract the first some like three records, or let's say 10 records of the data, then I can do that. So let's say I want to like select only the first three records of the data. So I can do that simply. Just I can give here like first n rows, and from here I can give the number. Like if I want to look for three, or maybe I want to look for five rows, or 10 or 20 or 100, whatever my requirement is, I can select that, and I can just get the first rows, whatever requirement. Okay, now similarly, you can go ahead with last 10 rows. For example, from this data, you want to pick some last rows. Let's say last 10 rows or 20 rows or 30 rows. So you can do that. If you want to skip some rows and then you want to continue with it. For example, let's say I say pick the data from the last three rows and I'll run it. So it has picked the data from the last three rows and shown to me. Now I say that skip some rows. Let's say I would like to skip the first 10 rows and I want to take the data from the 11th row. So this is something which you can do. Okay. Now coming on to first of every n row. Now this is something which is like a combination first of every 10 row. For example, some means every 10th row will be shown. Like for example, first row will be taken, then after that it would leave the 10 rows, and then it would start again from 11. Then again it would leave the 10 rows, it would start from 21. Like this, if you can see the data over here. So this is what basically is done with every n rows and with everything. Now, random one in n of each. So let's say you have given a random number of sets, like after some 10 datas, or maybe random 10. So what it will choose from like 1 to 10, it will like randomly pick of it, like from 1th of the 10th row, because it's 1 in n chance. So 1 in 10 chances to include each row. So maybe it has left like some 10 datas, it has considered 1. So from 2nd till 12th, it has removed that 10 datas and it has taken it from the 13th. Now let's say I want to show some percentage. For example, like the first 9% of rows, or maybe 10% of rows. When you say 10% of rows, that means you'll get 9 records of the data. So like this, you can basically select your rows, you can select the data, you can do everything. And here you can also group by. That's an optional feature. Let's say I want to group by some customer ID, or maybe first name. Like I want to group by the customer ID, and I want to find the first three rows by grouping by customer ID. Let's say I want to do that. Um, and I run this. So when I group by this, it actually gave me a, sorry, not customer ID, but let's say I group by first name. So see, based on grouping of the data, it has given me some random records. It has not given me the first 10 records, but it has given me the random records by actually grouping the data based on the first name. So that's completely optional for you. If you want to select it, you can do that. If you don't want to select it and proceed ahead, you can. But generally, when we work with select sample types, then we generally work with your like only the selection. We never group by any columns because for that we have another tool where we can group by and find anything. But generally, we don't use over here. Okay.
Got it, Nish.
Good. Um, so yeah, that was for the like sample tool. Now moving ahead, there's a select tool as well. Okay, so select tool is nothing but it would like allow you to select some columns. Okay, or that is there in your data stream. Help you to change the data type for it, and would also help you to like rename that uh, rename the column, basically the header name actually. So let's say I have this records of customer details over here, and I just want to like I have this customer records over here, and I like want to select some of the records only from the data. Like I just want the customer ID, the first name, the last name, that's it, and nothing else. So when I run this, I get the three columns. Now here I can change my data type. For example, I want my first name not to be string but to be a V string. Yeah, V string, and this should be a size of 256. Similarly, my last name size should also be 256, and I can change the name. Let's say it's first name. I want a space between them, so it should be first name. And also for the last name, it should be like last name. You can do that. You can write a description like shows the name of the person, and you can run it. So this is sort of the changes. So it's basically a selection. So like I told you yesterday that we have auto field also to set up a data type. But auto field is something which like is inbuilt in Alteryx, which actually Alteryx decides that do you like want to change the data type, or like it would decide by itself by looking into each column and will set up a data type for itself. Okay, let's say if I bring a auto field over here, right? Now, and if I run it, so if you will see here now, basically in the metadata, so let's say we take only these three columns. See, for this it has taken like for record ID it's in32 string and B string, right? But here when I have select, I can change, but I don't have an option to change the type of it because Alteryx has judged itself. It's a tool, so Alteryx has judged itself by looking into each column and has given it a data type. For example, if it's a name, then it would be a string or a v string, and if it would be a number, then it would be double. But let's say for some of the columns, like spent, I have a column of spent over here. So if you can see, it's actually not double. It's a float data, right? So you should always be like that. It's a float data, so it should be like floats. But I don't have an option of doing that. So but in select statement I can do that. For example, if I select spend and I want to change it to float, I can change it to float. I want to change it to a fixed decimal, I can do that. So first of all, the major difference between an autofield and a select is that autofield just set up automatically the field by judging its column, whereas select provides you a feature where you can set the data type according to your understanding and your needs, and can also set up a size for your data type as well, because it's like your first name can be long for many person. Okay, so I can set up a size for that. So that whenever I'm working with my data, it never happens that due to the size issue, my data get truncated. Now, one thing is that. Second thing is I can rename my columns over here. The column names I can rename. For example, if some column names I don't want that, I want to change it to something other, I can do that with a select. In fact, I can also give a description, whereas autofill does not provide you with this feature. So generally, generally, I prefer to use select mode than autofill, because select is much better in than to use a autofill in terms of that. So it's better to use a select tool rather than to use a autofill tool. Okay.
Totally.
Okay. So now the next is sort. So sort is the simple sort of descending ascending orders. Like you do a simple descending and ascending order sort. So that's the sort tool for you over here also. Where I have this data, I want to sort it based on any of the column. Maybe it can be first name, last name, join, region, score. Yeah, but it would be like for anything. It's not that it would only be for like any of the columns, any of the use. You want to use any data dictionary order, you can use that. You want multiple sorts on the column, you can do that. So that's what actually the sorting, and it's not that you can only sort with. There is no limitation that you can only sort the data with a string column, but you can sort it with a numeric column as well. So this is what the sort provides you a feature for. You can sort your data as per your requirements. So that's what is sort is. Now we have a next tool which is style. So a tile tool is nothing, but it would like group the data into sets based on a value of range. Okay, so let's say I have this data where I have an address, I have city, a state, zip, company, and I have an average sale. So there are like 1,491 records. Okay, and I basically for that reason I just sort them into the equal records. Like we have when you configure business, so in the configuration window, we have some points. We have equal sum, we have equal records, we have a smart child, we have unique value, and we have manual. So first of all, what is equal records? Equal records is nothing. But let's say you have different tiles, and so based on equal number of rows, the actually tiling would be done. Okay. Like I want to sort it for the number of tiles is 5. So based on that cricket, based on actually your different tiles, equal number of rows of tiling would be done. Like basically, it has grouped the data based on whatever column, whatever like data I have specified. It has done that. So you can split up the columns as well. Now let's say if you want to do it for the equal sum, you want to have an equal sum, like based on the average sale, you want to find it out, so you can do that. Okay, if there's an average sale or anything. If you have an average sale or any sort of anything, so you can just like have an equal sum of it. For example, like what basis, on what base of the column I want to like have an average sale. Okay, so I can do that based on it. Now, there is a feature of a smart tile. It's basically nothing. A smart tile has like a sort of a standard deviation. So that is what a smart tile is. Basically, like if you want to have on the basis of an average sale. So you have three options. Do not output the name of the column, output name column, output verbose name column. So verbose is like it would find like an random average of those basically of those sales column, a standard deviation for the average sales of the column, and based on that it would tile up your data. So that's what smart tile is. Okay, so generally we don't use tile that much. Mm, generally we don't use tile that much. We just use it based on like our requirements, and this is something which is not just used a lot. So there are sometimes some requirements where we use it. Okay. Any questions on this?
As of now, no, Nishani. Going forward, we can see while practicing,
Mm-hmm.
it will come questions.
So like, are you in office? Are you doing some Alteryx or something?
Yeah. Already, yeah, we are doing all tricks, but I didn't do design anything till now. So going forward, I'm going to design the all tricks.
Okay.
So they are giving KT right now.
To you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you are working like they are giving you KT, so you are working also side by side.
No, I'm not working. Just how you can show, no, the
Mm-hmm.
same way the developer open the canvas and they're showing the options. Still, they didn't give me the access and all.
Okay.
Just they are providing the knowledge on the tool.
Okay. 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 Correct. Correct. Understood. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
maybe
Mhm.
next week, maybe I'm going to design the workflows.
Oh, nice. That's good. Okay.
But
So we
I
have.
have knowledge, anyway, I have knowledge in ETL tool. Na? I know the select and the sort option, unique option. I know formula, filter, data cleansing also. So I know all these things and all. But in Alteryx have more options to perform the design the workflows.
Yeah, that depends on how what is your requirement actually.
Yes,
Based on the requirement, it just works.
comparing to any other retail tool like Talent or ODI,
Mhm.
SSIS, some, Those
Mhm.
tools doesn't have this many options. Only Alteryx only uh, having this many options.
Okay. So you have worked.
Yeah, tell me.
So you have worked on these tools like the other retail tools you are
Yeah, yeah.
telling.
I'm actually ODA developer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know the if you go to any depth on the data side, SCD concept, CDC, how to design the interfaces, how to design the lookups, subqueries.
Mm-hmm. Right, right.
So
Okay.
till now, I am working on Oracle tools. So enter my background is Oracle. So
Okay,
now
great.
I change it to Alteryx, some cloud technologies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good, good. You're a Tableau developer also.
Yeah, Tableau developer. We have designed a few reports in Tableau by using the Snowflake connection. The ETL is talent.
Mm-hmm. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, okay,
But,
okay.
here the thing is the Oracle apps. The front end application is Oracle apps.
Mm-hmm.
So we are going to create the finance reports in the Alteryx in going forward maybe 2 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we are getting new project. So my manager want to deployment on that project. So that is the reason I'm learning this Alteryx tool.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, I have done connections with Snowflake on Power BI. I have not
Yeah.
done in Tableau actually, like because of Tableau's license now, so that's why they have
Yeah.
shifted. Like my client shifted to Power BI, so I
Hmm.
have done over Power BI.
So in this scenario, the front end application is Oracle apps. The designer part is Alteryx, ETL part. Visualization is Tableau. So finally, we are going to design the Tableau hyperfile.
Okay, so no, my front end is Alteryx and my designer part, like visualization part is now it's Power BI for like for 2 years now it's Power BI, 2.5 years. It's like continuously Power BI because of the Tableau versions and all that issues. So I think client has shifted to Power BI, and moreover, I find Power BI. I found that it was much more fast while connecting with Snowflake as compared to
Yes, yes, correct.
Tableau.
Yeah, compared to Snowflake database and SQL Server Oracle,
Mhm.
it's much faster. Snowflake is very faster.
Yeah, Snowflake is faster and Snowflake behave much faster than Power BI interface.
Yes.
What I saw as compared to Tableau interface, means I think there is a lot of integration that is there, maybe that's why.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was connecting a bit fast with Power BI than with like with Tableau because I have some students now, so they were like
Yeah.
they have snowflakes, so they were saying that we need a connection or something with it. So we found it that we thought it was Tableau, which is fast with Snowflake, but we have checked that it's like Power BI, which is fast. Yeah, it's Power BI, which is very very fast. So I have some candidates now who are learning Power BI right now.
Okay.
Okay, let's move ahead. So, unique is nothing, obviously, to find some, like in a data stream, you have
The,
unique row based on your columns or everything. So, you can have that. Basically, one unique grouping, actually. For example, if there's a data set over here and I want to find the unique rows, so it would be based on like the column names, maybe the first name and the last name. Based on that group, if you want to find the duplicate records, then the duplicate records are here and the unique records are over here. But yeah, sometimes like it's behave a bit weird with unique records. Sometimes like depends on data also. Like I have seen unique tools behaving a bit different altogether while with this tool actually. So that sometimes there were not like unique records that were sorry, the duplicate records that have been removed. So I have seen with some of the audit data actually. So yeah, I have seen pretty much like that, but some audit data and all that stuff. So yeah, it happens. So I prefer to like add a row number from the generate rows or account, like writing a formula and generating a count of the number so that I can have a like a identifier for my data. So that's basically I do because I've seen unique records behave very weirdly with some of the audit data. Not every audit data, but yes, with some they behave like that. So yeah, so that completes our preparation tab actually. So I have some questions for you. I'll share that right now. First of all, you can go ahead, practice with it. Okay, like you have a weekend now, so you can install the Alteryx. So I hope you know how to share the Alteryx workflow.
Yeah, yeah. While saving the file, it's come YXMD file, then copy in the
Yeah,
email. That's it. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The YSMD file. So you have to export, you have to just share me the package workbook like you do in Tableau. So,
Okay. Okay.
so that I can just see the solutions because otherwise I will not able to see the solutions what you have done.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and that was the preparation tool. Okay, now moving ahead, we have some join tools over here also. So in this join tool, we have some tool like appends, find and replace, fuzzy matches, joins, everything. So let's start with the append field first. So append field is nothing. So here, in normal Excel, like we do, appending our data one after the other. Like there are 10 rows in one sheet, and in a one sheet there are like first 10 records of the data, and the second records like from 11 to 20 are in the another sheet of the workbook, and my client asking or the requirement asked from me is that I want these two sheets to get clubbed together, and I want to like have a consolidated output in one single sheet. So that's what append in case of Excel, but here it's not that case. Here it is different. Here the append is done on the column. So basically, in this tool, you will have a new column added to your source input file for based on the target input. Okay, so target input, and it will be duplicated for each based on what's there in your what's there in your like target input file. So based on that, that rows will be duplicated. So how it works? Let me just show you. So let's say this is the file. This is actually my source file. This is one of the file where I have saved area, average household, and total population. In this data, I have a customer segments. I have four customer segments: is home office, consumer, small business, and corporate. I want that this customer segment should be there for each state. For example, for Alabama, there should be four customer segments. For Ala- Alexa, also there should be four customer segments. So, for Arizona also there should be four customer segments, so and so on. Okay. So what I would do is that I'll pull an append over here. Now there are two anchors, a target and a source. Okay, target is the data I am targeting it for, in which I want to append the data. So that's my input state population file. I'll connect it with my target anchor. Now the source. Sources from which file I'm taking it to append for. That is my customer segment file. So I'll pull it and connect it over here. And when I run it, I can see that for all the four segments, there are four records for the state Alabama. Similarly, for the all the four segments, there are four records. So yes, they have created a duplicate record for each row input in a source file. Whatever the input from a source file has been there, they have created duplicate records for that. Okay.
Yeah, got. You can club the two files, correct?
I would not say it's a clubbing of a two file, but actually it's not a clubbing of a two file, I would say. It's like adding of some another, like a new column to it from another input file. Let's say I want to append a new file, a new column from another file. So I can do that.
Okay. Okay. Customer segment is a new column.
Yeah, customer segment is a
I
new
append
column which
the
was there in my this file, and I appended that in my target file. In
yes.
this file, like I want a new column completely, which was targets, which is customer segment. So my ask is that like for every state there should be customer segment row for each and every state.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So as I have four customer segments, so that's why the records divided into four. Although there were duplicate records, but the records divided into four segments. Okay.
Okay.
So that's one thing. So you should be very careful while appending it, first of all, because the one thing is that if let's say you have some like let's suppose if I'll do like a reverse of it. For example, in my source file, I have 52 records, and here I have 4 records. So a target file is that which should have a higher records, and source file should have lower records. That is should be the case. Otherwise, it would provide you an error. For example, I'll show you how an error happens. Let's say I'll pull an append field. No, over here. Let's say I want to connect, this is a target file and this is a source file.
You did the reverse. Segment
Yeah,
is
I
the
did the reverse. Yes, but I got an error over here. What's the error now? The error is there were more than 16 records in the source. So it's like when it's generated over here, now if you will see, there were more than 16 records. So it's like when you have in your target file, you have less rows, and in your source file you have more rows, so that append is not possible. It's every time that the append would be there in that data source itself, which has more data and like more records as compared to the source. Otherwise the append would not take place, it would fail. That's a drawback, I would say, in this append tool. But yeah, it is like this. If you want to have a reverse now, what you have to do is that uh, you can simply like do this also, but you have to click on allow all appends. then
Okay.
only it will not show you any reverse. So I have done a reverse also over here. If you could show, see
We
here.
need to enable the allow all
Yeah,
events.
yeah, exactly. If you show now allow all offense, then it would not show you any like errors or anything. But yes, if you would like do it in a way that's correctly and you would so that one on a kind of more than 16 records. Obviously, it will give you a one. It will obviously give you a one. So append records always increase your number of rows, your number of records every time because it leads to a duplication of a data. But I won't say it's a duplication of the data, but yeah, obviously, for let's suppose the some columns remains the same, but there's a difference of another column. For example, if you see over here in this scenario, obviously the states remain same. The area square meter, the average household size, and the total population for all the segments, customer segments remains the same. But because it's just that the customer segments change, but apart from that, everything remains the same. So it is said that there's a duplication of a records, but it's not the same case every time that there's a duplication of records. It's like a segmentation added. So whereas I have a difference and a unique field of segment, so I can have that bifurcation. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, So that's an append. So basically, it's an append field, but it's an append field. So basically, it appends you a column over here. Field means a column over here. Now we have find and replace. So find and replace is like simple in Excel as well. Like you find something and you replace it. So that's the simple thing which you do in Alteryx as well. So let's say I have one file which is which has transactions ID, transactions detail, I account holder and amount. And I have another file where I want to change this abbreviations to a complete name. So I just pull my find and replace tool. So this I have connected to find anchor and this I have connected to a replace anchor. So any part of the data I want to change for account holder, find the word and I want to do it for replacement. I'll run. You can see now it's Glenn and so abbreviations have actually changed over here. That happened. Okay, so this is what final replace is. Now there are three divisions over here. Like you want to have it from the beginning of the field. You can do any part of the field. It will search with it will find from any part of the field. And if you want to find in the entire field, like for example, this entire field you want to find for, you can select for entire field also. There has been scenarios where there were case insensitive finds. For example, you have given a word A and D and in small, and in your data it is in caps. So you can tick for this. You can have a selection of match the whole word only, and then you can have a replacement. So you can do that. Here we have another option. If you see, it has an append field to the records. So you can append some fields. For example, if I have a data where I want to flag, like if I have some treasury revenue of transport or something. So for example, in this account holder file, if you would see, I have revenue. So for this, if I want to add a column of yes, no, a flag sort of a column. So I can do that. So I have that append feature as well over here. In this find and replace also, I have that append option. Okay.
Okay.
So you can find the pen field over here, or we have that option of appending it over here also. And that's a one way. Any of which ways you can apply for. Both of them works in a similar way only, not like a different sort of a thing of target or so. But yes, you can either go ahead with the pen fields over here, or you can go ahead with the find and replace too, whatever you feel like.